Oh, that just made my freaking day. I'm laughing so hard on that, Vaughn. Hey, everybody, guess what? It's a brand new year, and it's a Wednesday, and it's 7 o'clock. Guess where we are? Actually, it's 7 o'clock and probably like 35 seconds now. But it's time for the South Carolina NORML Cannabis conversation. We had a little bit of a false start. We did the countdown, we did a little intro, and realized we weren't live broadcasting yet.
That's a fact. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what
Oh,
happened.
man.
Happy New Year, Scott.
Hey, Happy New Year, VP. Man, it's a wonderful time to be alive.
Yeah, sure is.
I don't know why I
that's a
said
fact.
that, but whatever.
Listen, you guys. Just like Scott said, in the beginning, it was my job to hit the go live button. Okay. And then it was Scott's job to hit the countdown video. And let me tell you, one of us did our job, and it was Scott. So we were over here doing an intro, and we were not live. And here we are now for you guys. So thank you so much. That just shows it, just proving that all you got to do is just keep on trying, right? And
Keep on trying. You'll get there, and sometimes only 35 seconds late.
Sometimes there will be a false start. But you guys
sometimes there'll be a false start. Hey, we are pretty consistent. I got to give us that. We're pretty darn consistent. We make it out here almost every week. We've canceled for a couple of holiday things along the way, and
right.
I've had some back before. I had my wonderful co-host, whatever side of the screen she's on here, Vaughn with me, call out for illness and things. So crap happens, but we're pretty consistent overall. So anyway, I am going to click on this little button and put up our welcome, everybody. Welcome to the podcast tonight, the Cannabis Conversation. I do want to always start our meetings with our little disclaimer that all of our meetings are an environment of education and awareness and are not an open market for the sale, purchase, or distribution of cannabis, and we do not encourage or condone illegal behavior of any kind.
No, we do not.
No, we do not. We also like to remind you at this time to follow us on Instagram at SCNormal. Also follow Vaughn at Vaughn Postema on Instagram as well. Last but not least, in a kind of little welcome segment here, I do like to remind people to please support our sponsors. Visit our website, scnormal.org, and follow to the sponsors page, and you'll find a link out to their website. Please support our sponsors.
And with that, Happy New Year indeed. Ina, first one in the chat. Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year, Ina. Great to see you here with us again tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is a Happy New Year indeed. I'll just go ahead and roll right into that intro. Shout out to everybody. I just sent this link to a lot of family members. So we'll see what happens tonight. Hopefully they'll be in the conversation talking about cannabis as we do. I'm glad to kick off a year with you, Scott, 2023. We got a lot of fun things planned for this year. Today, I've got a handful of headlines for us to dive into. A lot of exciting things happening in the cannabis realm. A lot of cool stuff going on, especially I can't wait to share a Canadian PSA about edibles later on. So please stay tuned for that. And then later on, we'll also wrap up our Know the Law series. We'll go over the state of South Carolina, the last couple of sections, which talk about concentrates, hash, paraphernalia, things of that nature. So those are relatively smaller elements to our cannabis laws, but nevertheless, they're a part of them, and we've got to wrap up that Know the Law series. So you ready to jump right in, Scott?
I know I'm ready to go. Look, I even have my membership badge on.
Woo! And you can get one of those nifty membership badges as well. I think this is a great time to let you know that you can also be a member of NORML, and especially SCNormal, because we're pretty rad and we're doing things to work on reforming those marijuana laws. Any 2 cents about membership? Might as well, Scott.
Oh, as always, our membership helps us pay the bills. We all are volunteers at this organization. We don't get paid for what we do because we do it out of the passion, the desire in our hearts to stop seeing people get arrested for simple marijuana possession specifically, and to, in the long run, fully legalize marijuana. But once you start asking for donations, and becoming like a nonprofit organization, which we are, a 501c4 nonprofit, there are some bills you gotta pay. You have to have, if nothing else, we have to have a post office box so we have a place to mail because we don't have an office. I mean, now, big donor come along, want to donate an office space. We could.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But beyond that, we can afford a post office box. It's kind of funny. In the past 6 years, I think it's gone up every single year. Rent's not cheap around Folly Beach.
I know that's right.
Not even in a post office box. But anyway, the other thing about it is when you're signing up for your membership, if you do sign up for your 2023 membership, we do have a special offer on one of the membership packages to also get a T-shirt, one of our South Carolina NORML T-shirts at a 15% discount, and we are also sending. Oh, I think I have them behind me yet. Everybody who signs up before the middle of February 14th or so, a whole packet of goodies. You're all going to get a book, the Emerging Clinical Applications of Cannabis and Cannabinoids. You're all going to get a pocket-sized Constitution. That's the U.S. Constitution, the supreme law of the land, and it fits in your pocket, man.
Know them rights.
Know them rights. There you go. Hallelujah. I only got one in my hand, but you'll get 5 of our brand new vinyl stickers.
For our guerrilla marketing techniques.
For our guerrilla marketing, put them around town, let people know, share with your friends, leave them on the table for your waiter or waitress. Also get one of our favorite, one of the most popular items we have.
That one's legit.
Enamel leaf pins.
Yeah,
and
love that thing.
Also one of our buttons. So those are all the free additional merch that you'll get. While I'm talking about the membership drive, I didn't actually say a membership drive. We were just talking memberships, but the free stuff comes along with our membership drive, which we're running through, I want to say February 14th or 15th. Don't remember exactly the date. The other thing I want to highlight is we also have a giveaway. So once that deadline hits, we'll basically put everybody's name in a hat, a box, a bucket, some sort of container, shake it all around.
A vessel.
Shake it all around, reach in and pull out a winner. The winner will receive a copy of Dope Man board game. I believe that's our 3rd year that's our grand prize, the Dope Man board game. But we've also reached out, and we are still reaching out to any businesses in South Carolina that might like to donate to our grand prize basket, as I'm starting to call it now. We have gotten one donation so far from, let's see if I can show it to you real quick, Healing Leaf Health and Wellness.
Nice.
There you go. And
HealingLeafSC.com.
$100 gift certificate for their product.
You better show that. You better show that authenticity.
Yeah. I like that. So, extra $100 there. If your organization or business would like to donate a gift certificate, reach out to us through our contact page on our website. And good luck to all the 2023 members on winning that prize. How was that for membership and plug? Drive plug.
That was beautiful. That was honestly beautiful. I would have careened into a corner with that. Here we go. Shout out to, let me go in order here. Comanche Doyle. Happy New Year. Happy New Year indeed.
New Year.
I really was impressed with that membership drive rundown just now, Scott. That was poetic. Yo, what's up, my people? Joey. What's up, Joey?
Hey, Joey's in the house.
Joey's got a new profile pic. Yeah, a little hot rod action.
Oh, okay. I did see it over there.
Nancy, what's up? What's going on? And then also Nancy said 2023 is our year. I know that's right. And in Facebook land, there's a Noah Long. What's up, Noah? All right,
hey,
all right.
Noah's on again. Hello, Noah. Welcome back.
Hello, Noah. All right, let's jump into it. Bam. All right, we got plenty headlines to talk about. And first, U.S. Virgin Islands. U.S. Virgin Islands, y'all. Have you ever been to the Virgin Islands before, Scott?
As a matter of fact, yes. St. Thomas.
Yeah, same.
Lived there for about a month when I was about 12 years old, 13 years old.
Oh, nice.
Um, the first place I ever consumed cannabis, which were the scrapings of resin from a bowl.
There you go.
And my mother wanted to move us there as a child. And now when I look back on it, I don't know why we ever rebelled. I could have lived in paradise.
Oh yeah, for a fact, you
Yeah,
could have.
and we rebelled so badly that she just went, never mind, not worth. And she even got to the point where she bought a house there.
Oh my God, boy! If you could go back in time, I'll tell you right now. I can't. I tell you what. Bet you wish you was over there right now because U.S. Virgin Islands lawmakers send in marijuana legalization and expungement bills to their governor, who is definitely set to sign. The governor over there has been pushing for marijuana legalization, Governor Albert Bryan Jr. Yeah, pretty awesome, pretty cool. This article comes from Marijuana Moment, by the way. And I'm going to get into what their overall kind of like the summary of this is. But I mean, really awesome to see big ups to Senator Janelle Sorrow. She filed the adult use legalization bill. It says the Senate passed it with amendments in a veto-proof 11-1 vote. The expungements legislation passed unanimously. What? Very cool. Very cool news coming out of the Virgin Islands. I think it's super dope. Yes, please follow along. I'm going to go ahead and jump down to the summary points. All right. So some of the main provisions of the legislation bill: you got adults over the age of 21 could possess up to 2 ounces of marijuana, 4 grams of cannabis concentrates, and 1 ounce of cannabis products such as edibles, ointments, and tinctures. Let me tell you something. They are you are set. All right. Legislation would create an Office of Cannabis Regulation. I really like this. Tasked with issuing marijuana business license, overseeing the industry, and setting rules on issues like advertising, packaging, and labeling. I always think this is really cool to see. I think that's a really big step into harm reduction when you've got an office that is going to set the tone and say, if you're going to do this here, this is what it needs to look like. Here are what our standards are. I always like seeing that. I know that that's an ever evolving piece, but it's nice to know that they have that element there. It says there would be several license and permit types, including for cannabis manufacturers, retailers, cultivators, micro cultivators, testing laboratories, and on-site consumption entities. Book your trips now.
On-site consumption entity.
Yeah. Book your flights now. I mean, I think that's really cool to see, first off, because of the tourism aspect of the Virgin Islands. Clearly they're going to lean into that element too. I'm curious to see how that unfolds for them. It says there would be caps on how many licenses OCR could grant for each of the territories and main islands. Regulators could issue more after January 1st, 2025, if they conduct a study demonstrating that the expansion is needed to meet consumer demand. Individuals who use marijuana. Go ahead.
I was just going to say on that line of it, estimates suggest that some $4.5 billion of expenditure out of the $25 billion for illegal pot sales is out of cannabis tourism.
Yeah, they're clearly on this route, right? I mean, they're clearly on this route, and I would love to see. I'm real curious to see what it's going to be like for people flying out of the Virgin Islands. I wonder what that's going to look like. How many people are going to? I wonder if they'll have those same. Who has it? Like California or Seattle? I think if you fly out, they've got little containers like in the airport where you can dispose of your cannabis because you may be flying to places where it is illegal. I wonder how that's going to shake out for them. Oh, hold on. Shout out in Facebook world, Jessica. Jessica is the treasurer for SC NORML. Shout out.
Woo-woo. Welcome to the call. Welcome to the podcast. Absolutely. Love having you here with us tonight.
And thank you so much, Jessica, for your constant volunteering with us alongside us at SC Normal. Um, what else we got here? I gotta chill with the ums. Now that's all you guys are gonna hear. Book your trips now. That's right, Comanche Doyle. Book your trips now. This is if you want to see. I mean, I think about it. Like you said, Scott, it really does have this element of like very paradise feel. When I went and visited St. Thomas, absolutely was beautiful. The roads scared me, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
There, that was kind of scary. And we stayed up, in the hills, so it was it was scenic and scary all at the same time. But absolutely book those trips. I ain't lying. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Individuals who use marijuana for sacramental purposes could apply for their own cultivation permits. Okay, sacramental. Now, that's religious, right? For religious means, right? Let me get that dictionary.com. Hold on.
How are you going to define someone's usage if they say, yeah, I do it. I do it while I do my alms, while I do my meditations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's very cool. That's actually very cool. I have a lot to say about that. Not enough for this podcast, but I'm going to dig more into that because I have some thinkings. I'm thinking real like Rastafarian and things of that nature. So I think that's pretty awesome. I got to dig more into that. There would be a tax of no less than 18% on marijuana purchased from dispensaries, but that would not apply to medical cannabis. The bill also lays out licensing fees and calls for a 50-cent per gram tax on cannabis cultivators who sell marijuana to other licensees. Woo! Steep. Revenue would be split among programs to address behavioral health, homelessness, and youth recreation, as well as administration of the cannabis program and territories general fund. That's really cool. So they're pouring that money back into the community.
Into the communities, yeah. Where is
You ain't lying, Comanche. You ain't lying. That tax boy.
Yikes.
Woo! 18% on it. Woo!
Well, then again, if you live on James Island or in the Charleston area, you're not surprised by high taxes.
Yeah, I know. Hey, yeah.
Especially when you get into some of those extra penny corridors and stuff like that. Like, whoa. How much
Pretty intense.
Anyway, that is high.
They've got a couple of other things here. Let's see. What else is there would be a 100 milligram THC cap on edibles, and each serving could contain up to 10 milligrams. That's pretty industry standard right there. Mm-hmm. Additionally, there are residency requirements for marijuana business ownership. Pretty standard. There are packaging and labeling restrictions, with the bill stipulating that labels must include health warnings and be designed in a way that doesn't appeal to people under 21. I always love that. I'm not a fan of the kooky looking packaging. That's just me. That's a personal preference. But that's awesome. That's also very standard as well. So very cool. This is a very cool piece of news. Just another example of another piece of America that is
another
moving
municipality.
forward.
They're not a state. They're a territory. What are there? The three islands: St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John, I believe, are the three U.S. islands down there. Big tourist area. They're probably cruise ships that cruise through the area from here.
Right.
Actually, there's no new ones leaving from Charleston anymore. I think they've stopped that as of now. They're still coming into port from other areas, so we're still a destination. But
yeah.
Anyway, yes, very cool news. I'm glad you caught that and brought this to our attention.
Yeah, definitely very cool. The governor over there has been pushing for this for a hot minute. Some of his quotes here, you see it says Brian, who has also talked about marijuana as a safer alternative to opioids for pain treatment, stressed in May that it's been 3 years now moving the issue And so lawmakers need to get it through the legislature so we can get some money going. He's very big on let's get let's get that money, but I like that there is also a social element to it as well. So, and also I want to point that out. 3 years, he said 3 years. So
And the first thing that catches me is marijuana is safer than the opioids. I mean, he could have
yeah,
actually said it's safer than alcohol, and that would have also been a true statement.
right,
Um, but when you look at the opioid epidemic that we're having across the nation, I'm sure they're having problems with it in the Virgin Islands as well. Um, and you look at the statistics of states that have legalized and with the reduction of of opioid use in those states. Um, he's preaching to the choir, but he's also
yeah,
preaching to the rest of the community when he says that. So
yeah, yeah. A fact. It's something that we know that this is a problem. This opioid crisis for sure is a problem. So if we're going to, there's so many ways to combat it, right? It's not that marijuana legalization is the end all be all, but it definitely is something that can assist. We got a couple of things on here. Let's see. Adult packaging. Yes, I'm adult packaging. We're gonna do a whole show on adult packaging because I like adult packaging. I think that's another form of harm reduction. Adult packaging. It just and this is me coming from a I'm considered to be a millennial in the millennial generation, and I am convinced this is my own personal viewpoints, right, about millennials because I am one, is that we do not want to grow up. Okay, we're fine with being adult kids, and I label myself from time to time as an adult kid, but it just sometimes I'm like, who made this packaging? I feel like I know who led the charge with some of this packaging. But shout out to all my millennials out there. Uh, love you because I love me. And then we've got Ina here says South Carolina is a tourist state. Exactly. Tourism.
it's a tourist state, but have you ever heard the saying, come to Charleston on vacation, go home on probation?
Oh God.
Uh,
Oh God. I hadn't heard that one, Scott.
oh, you
Boy,
haven't
Scott
heard
was
that
spitting
one?
bars just
Yeah,
now.
I've heard that one.
Oh,
Come to Charleston on vacation, go home on probation.
yikes.
Be careful, it's illegal here. So you folks that are visiting from other
Yikes.
legal states, be fully aware. I've talked to some people recently who have recently moved to the state, and they were not aware before they moved here that marijuana was illegal here and as demonized as it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
share that when I saw her comment about us being a tourist state. Yeah,
That's
come
a
to
fact.
South Carolina on vacation.
That's a
Be
fact.
careful, you
You
could go home on probation.
On that note too though, with us being that tourist state, just thinking about Charleston in general, especially with how big the food scene is here, food and bev, man, how this is just me being imaginative right now, but boy, we could have some super awesome infusion dinners and elements like that. It would be so cool. There would be some really, we could have a whole food festival about infusion and that would be pretty rad. But that's just the thinking. That's more on the entertainment side of things, right?
Yeah, and we do have a great big food and bev scene here in the Charleston area. And be quite honest with you, I'm proof of some of that. Um,
Scott
because
be brunching. He be brunching.
yeah, I like the brunching. We like the brunching scene, definitely. Uh, and I was more of a fan of alcohol and extreme inebriation in my younger years.
Hmm.
Um,
Extreme
now,
inebriation.
extreme inebriation. I like that. um, but now, yeah, now it's more like brunch, and I rarely, if ever, would have a drink with brunch. And if I
Yeah.
do have a drink, it's kind of odd stuff. Like tonight, actually, after the call, I talked about this, I think, last week. We're got the last of our nog to finish up. We're finishing up the last of the nog. We'll have some leftover cracking, but we'll figure that out down the line.
Side note: I bought some Kraken because of you, by the way.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it.
Still haven't cracked it open yet.
Yeah, and then around St. Patty's, I do like an Irish coffee with a little extra pour of the Irish cream in there. So there's seasons, fall sometimes. Actually,
Right.
I don't mind a cider, but rarely do you see me with a beer. Rarely do you see me with anything as much as a
Right.
hard drink generally. Except a liquid marijuana at our 420 event this past year. Those were good.
And see, and that's another thing too about how we can, for non-alcoholic options, right? That's a big. There's a lot of sober, curious people, sober people as well who aren't digging the extreme inebriation. They like going more of the sober route in that regard, like away from alcohol. So that's a huge trend right now. By the way, is drinks without alcohol, but within that scene.
But
So
yeah, but still in that upscale kind of
right,
mixology world,
right,
if you'll put it that way.
yeah,
Um, uh,
yeah,
and,
absolutely,
and that would be something I could go, the old, you see them sometimes drop a shot of something in there. Well, does it have to be alcohol? How about some kind of drink? You drop a, a CBD shot of some sort in there,
right,
or,
right,
you know,
right,
yeah,
absolutely,
there's got to be more. There's got to be more. Um,
absolutely, absolutely. And speaking of, there's got to be more. There's got to be more pardons coming, right? That you like a segue there, Scott?
I like that.
Oh
There's
wait,
got to be more.
first off, let's just acknowledge that Joey also is dropping some bars right here. South Carolina, smiling faces, beautiful places, and plenty of jail spaces. Wow. So we're hoping we're hoping we're hoping to change that, folks. Hoping to change that. All right.
All
So
right.
that was
What's
a funny
this
one, Joey.
one
So
here?
this is just talking about
There it
this
is.
was out in about 5 days ago, right? December 30th. Headline says, as Biden issues a handful of new marijuana and drug pardons, advocates demand he release current prisoners. Some highlights here. You've got, actually, I'll do the first couple here. President Joe Biden granted a half dozen pardons on Friday. That was December 30th, including for a handful of people with marijuana or other drug convictions on their records. The end of the year clemency action follows the mass pardon for Americans who've committed federal cannabis possession offenses that the president issued in October. So, lots of people excited about it, but also wanting more. And I'm actually going to talk about this in the next headline that we have. But let's marinate a little bit on what Joe got going on here and some of the things that we see. Some examples that they have up here. It says, besides 72-year-old Knock, the president also pardoned 50-year-old Edward Lincoln DeCoit III, an Army veteran who was convicted in a marijuana trafficking case in his early 20s. Gary Parks Davis also received a pardon for a decades-old cocaine conviction. Lots going on in the White House there. Scott, any initial thoughts before I talk about some of these tweets?
Uh,
Those are
apparently not. Apparently not. Apparently I'm speechless at the moment. I'm not sure why, but
let's
go,
keep
go ahead
let's
and
keep
talk about some of these tweets.
let's keep going. Okay, so it says I felt the same way when I first read it. I was like, wow, okay. So Vice President Kamala Harris says our administration believes in a criminal justice system that allows for second chances. Today, POTUS granted 6 full pardons. These included individuals who honorably served in the U.S. military, volunteer in the community, and overcame domestic abuse. I want to point that out, especially because here in South Carolina, there's a big push, as we know, the pre-filings of things such as decriminalization for veterans, right? So one thing that I like for us to pay attention to is what the trends are, right? What's happening sometimes on that federal level and how it trickles down to us. And so notice how there was a emphasis on U.S. military, volunteer in the community, and someone who overcame domestic abuse. Right? These are three, obviously that's 3 topics right there, right? So it's definitely something to think about as we forge ahead, even in South Carolina. Even though I know this is obviously very Democrat led, but just still something to think about. Okay, we've got here. But today, President. Okay, that's not the one. Hold on. Okay, this set of pardons includes individuals who honorably served in the U.S. military, volunteered in communities, and survived domestic abuse. It also joins the categorical pardon of thousands convicted of simple marijuana possession, POTUS announced earlier this year. Again, the emphasis on those three specific categories. To me, that feels like an example, right? It sounds like like they're creating an example of someone who served in the military, right? And saying, hey, this person should not be serving this time. They should be able to get a pardon. Like they're clearly trying to set a tone for the rest of the country and for the rest of the country to follow suit. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, bam, the ACLU on the 1st put out a tweet. Tell your governor, use your power of clemency today. All right. So the ACLU provided some, I'm actually going to skip down here. They've got a message that there's, what am I trying to say? They're trying to urge people. There we go. Urge people to send this message out to legislators, to the governor. And they want to, what was the, oh, there was something really cool in here. Oh, yes. They're talking about how governors in states such as Oregon, Illinois, Pennsylvania have already taken historic steps to provide pardons for marijuana-related convictions. And of course, there's still more to be done. And so they're urging people to send a message to their governor, tell them to use the power of clemency to pardon people for marijuana-related offenses under state law. I wanted to bring this to our attention because though we are not the ACLU, I think that this right here is pretty poignant for us. It's something that is worth it. We just dropped that link in the chat. If this is something that you rock with, I would encourage you to go ahead and send that message. I think that this is the tone. This is something that we're seeing this happen, this federal precedence, if you will. So it's something that is worth talking about and worth bringing up to our legislators. So those are my thoughts on that one.
Well, I've got to say, if nothing else, the first president to actually do something positive, I think there were some actual pardons under previous presidents. I fib on that. But, it seems to, with that last statement that he issued, with the original pardons that he did, again, my big thing on that was his, guiding the research into cannabis use. Which is to me the first step towards descheduling. I also like that you brought up the surviving abuse type comment there. That's something that Nancy Mace has been pushing with her States Reform Act, which is again a cannabis descheduling bill at the federal level. Unfortunately for us in South Carolina is most arrests are not federal level. Most arrests are state level, like 95% of them. And I agree these are steps in the right direction, but there definitely needs to be more. You're talking about and veterans, and it's just little buckets, little segments of people that are going, okay, for you maybe, but not for the general population. But again, the ACLU is a pro-cannabis law reform organization. Definitely, if you agree with this statement, follow the link and click the send a message button. I'm sure they will appreciate that.
Yeah, for a fact, and as a reminder, right? I'm gonna read this first sentence. The failed policies of the war on drugs, including harsh sentences, overcriminalization, and surveillance of Black and Brown communities, have perpetuated racial disparities in the criminal legal system and contributed to mass incarceration for decades. So something to take away from that is just how impactful marijuana arrests have been on communities that are underrepresented. It is mind-blowing. it's mind blowing how much destruction has occurred. So as we're continuing to see these very cool things happening in like places like the US Virgin Islands, it's so important for us to remember like the reason why there are elements that try to give back to the community is because the opposite, prohibition, has just wreaked havoc so unnecessarily, right? So we have to make sure that this is a as fair as possible, right? As fair as it can possibly be. Sheila says, always good information in this spot. And I'm gonna have to agree with that lady because that's my mom. So shout out to Sheila.
All
Probably the
right.
only time I can call her by her first name. Um, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Nancy. That's right. You got to fight for your rights. We've got to. We've got to. Every little bit of it counts. Every little bit
When
of
I was
effort.
reading that, I just heard the Beastie Boys in my head, though.
There you
I
go.
think that was the right band, right? Um,
Fight for your rights. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it
to
was Beastie Boys. Oh
party.
yes, it
Wasn't
was.
that?
It 100%
Yeah.
was. No, that song
Okay.
was. I just heard that the other day.
There you
Absolutely.
go. Yeah,
Yes.
that I read that far. You got to fight for your rights, and then I heard the rest of the song in my head.
Perfect.
Um,
Perfect. I'm going to, here we go. The next one, I need to share the audio, so I got to re-add it in here. Hold on. This is going to be really cool. So I saw a Canadian PSA for edibles, about edibles. I thought this was the coolest thing. I want to make sure that the sound is on. Here we go. Where's it at? Oh, yeah. So hopefully you guys will be able to hear this. All right. So you can see that, right? Let's see if I can
yep,
do
can see
StreamYard
it.
things correctly. All right. So this comes from Health Canada and PHAC. Official. You see the check. You see it's official. Official, give them a whistle. It says consuming cannabis edibles can delay your reaction time and impair your driving. It is never safe to drive after consuming them. Plan ahead to find another way home. Don't drive high. So here we go. Let me know if you can't hear this.
Jesse took an edible
Can hear it.
and then chose fries over driving. Right on, Jesse. There's no such thing as too much flavor.
Boom.
Jesse,
A PSA about edibles. 2023, people. Well, that came out in 2022. That's awesome. I think that's very cool. Little 15-second PSA. Something that it doesn't say this is your brain on drugs. It doesn't say you suck for doing this. It says, hey, if you're impaired, how about not drive?
Well, I kind of see it a little differently.
Go for it.
If you're impaired, look at those French fries.
You
Mmm.
said who made the French fries?
Ooh, ooh, look at those. Yeah. I ain't
I'm
going
not
nowhere.
gonna lie, them French fries do look good.
Yeah.
Now, those French fries, I admittedly wanted to make some French fries after seeing that because Jesse looks like he's having a good time with them French fries.
He's having a good time with the French fries. I think they in one of the parts of the clip he's even eating them French fries riding in the back of a car.
He is
You
at
know?
the at the end. It's 15
Yeah.
seconds, so I'm gonna give it one more playthrough, and
He's
only
got a good life,
6,000.
man.
We gotta see. Oh look at what some people said. Oh, actually, I probably shouldn't go through it because maybe I should blur out people's tweets. But some people are obviously in a space that says, oh, he's still that typical kind of like hippie dude. He's got his pictures of his dog, and he's still sitting on the couch, things like that. So this absolutely could go either way. I think that overall it's exciting to see a PSA. I don't know why that excites me, but I think that it's just really nice to see cannabis being talked about in a way of, hey, how can we continue to keep people safe while they indulge in these things instead of saying, hey, you suck.
It is still conveying the stereotype. Absolutely, it is still conveying the stereotype. Um, you know, a well-seasoned cannabis connoisseur wouldn't take too much offense to it. I don't think they were going like,
Yeah. a well seasoned. Yeah, I think that it definitely has improvements to be made. But I really was really digging this when I saw this. I was like, I hear the opposition of it, but I also think that it's nice to see something um that doesn't seem to be. I wonder that well, first off, let me finish my thought. That doesn't seem to be just demonizing people. And then the next part is I wonder if they'll do a series of this. And I think that would elevate it even more to do a series of these. Usually that's what PSAs do. They'll have like a series. But I think that showing people in different kind of elements would be great too, seeing different people with different types of lifestyles and things of that nature, and just showing kind of the broadness of cannabis usage and what that looks like. So I would love to see if they do more in terms of really focusing in on harm reduction. That would be very cool. We've got.
I did follow the link. I actually do like some of the comments underneath.
Yeah, what do they? I don't want to. Well, I guess it's public, right?
Hey, it's public. They posted the stuff publicly. But yeah, I like that first one on top. The "Hey dude, stoner" type is so old. It's not really representative of the average cannabis user these days.
Right. If it's unhealthy and not safe, why you legalized it? That to me is so like we're not going to get lost in
tweet comment world.
Yes,
no.
it is a rabbit hole. Okay, you can get lost in that.
But the fact that it's a real PSA is kind of interesting because I've seen those like spoof ones. You know, if they advertise cannabis the way they advertise, pharmaceuticals or those kind of spoof ones. So the fact that it's an actual PSA is interesting. They probably have to justify where they're getting, they're getting all that tax money and they're using it for education.
Yeah.
So they produce something like this with it. But yeah, I think they could have done a little better than
they got some
stereotype.
Work. They got some work to do.
They got some work to do.
We got a comment here. Right. You may have already addressed this, but have you seen the PSA that driving high is driving impaired? About DUIs launched by state troopers. I did not see that. We need to look that up. Especially if it's for by state troopers. So if it's for South Carolina, we got to definitely see that. Driving high is driving impaired. Yeah, we got to check that out. Thank you, Sheila, for bringing that up.
Well, and my comment to that is, if driving high is driving impaired and driving drunk is driving impaired, why are they not doing impairment testing?
Speak on it, Scott.
You pee in a cup for cannabis, it doesn't say you were impaired. You get a blood draw for cannabis, it doesn't say you were impaired. It just said there's cannabis in your system that lasts for many, many, many days.
Right.
Sometimes months, weeks if not months. So why isn't there impairment testing? Maybe not so much on the roadside stop stuff. It still should apply. But of course, my rant is usually the pre-employment cannabis testing, where people are applying for jobs. They're not impaired, hopefully. But yeah, it should be impairment testing.
And my mom follows up with, "Yes, Scott, my thoughts exactly."
I like your mom.
Yeah.
Then again, she's got a great daughter. So what
come on, give it up. I'm gonna tag back to Ina's comment because yes, I think this sums up why I'm a little geeked out about this, even though after kind of watching this with you guys, I'm like, I definitely am sad. No, I'm not sad that there's more work to be done, but they are leaning into the stereotype. But Ina, yes, this is my point: is that cannabis education through PSAs. I'm real hyped to see cannabis education through PSAs. I've always been a fan of PSAs. Since I was a kid, and I think that they're such when done correctly, are great ways to make messages stick with people, right? We see how the terrible ones have stuck with us. So that's something that I think is really, it's an opportunity that I'm looking forward to. Like that's going to be, I'd work on that campaign for sure. I'd come back out of my marketing retirement to work on a campaign like that. I sure would. I would.
Ooh, are we getting back to there? I saw
Oh
you click a
yeah.
button.
And right on time too, because this is a quick piece. This is going to round out our Know the Law series. And real quick, Josh, what's up? And he says too much caffeine can impair you. And I am an example of that, because your girl cannot have too much caffeine. All right. I've tried to do it on 3 separate occasions. And I definitely was impaired because I could not, it's not for me. I guess I'm just a true microdoser through and through. Okay. that is the type of person that I am. I am the micro, like, yeah, just give me that touch. Okay, that's great. That's all I need. And caffeine for sure has demonstrated more times than one for me that it will impair me. So yeah, I'm rocking with that statement because I've been in that position. And caffeine's all over the place. It's on every corner. So bim. Hash and concentrates. Let's get into it. Last week we talked about cultivation, and we're going to round this out. So as I've been doing with the Know the Law series, if this is your first time watching, this is literally just us going through and showing what the South Carolina laws and penalties are as it relates to cannabis, so that we are familiar with it. We have a lobby day coming up January 25th, where we are going to be talking about a lot of these laws and various other things as well. So it's just nice to go back and see exactly where South Carolina is as of now. Like you want to take a look at this, especially because of the bills that have been pre-filed. And I might end with that too, just to remind you of what to read, and what our legislators are going to be back in session on the 10th, January 10th. So gotta get right. Gotta get that knowledge going. Gotta get that reading going. So hash and concentrates. Let's get right into it.
Oh, hang on. I didn't mean to take your screen over.
Oh, it's all good, Scott.
There you go.
There we go. Hash and concentrates. So for a possession of 10 grams or less, it's a misdemeanor, 30 days, $200. Off rip, it's interesting to me that concentrates, compared to what we've been seeing the whole time, right? Yeah, I mean, same with possession right here, 1 ounce or less. You got the 30 days misdemeanor and $200, and then it gets a little like extreme after that, because then it says possession of more than 10 grams, misdemeanor, 5 years and $5,000. So, and then subsequent offenses carry greater penalties. So that's so ominous right there. Just another reason why we need some reform. We need to these laws need to step into 2023, really, because this just doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, that's my simple way of putting it, is that these punishments, these penalties just don't make sense. And I really don't think that we should be coming up out of our pockets $5,000. Like, I just don't. And 5 years, no. Now, these don't carry a mandatory minimum sentence like cultivation, sale, or trafficking. Those have mandatory minimum sentences. But hash and concentrates, and then of course we've got paraphernalia down here with civil citation, no jail time but $500. Like that right there, once again, no mandatory minimum sentence. So that's
most
just my quick
pack of papers you ever did buy, though.
Yeah, $500, man. They really, really. Whew, that would be quite disappointing. So hash and concentrates and paraphernalia. There you go. That is what our laws are. Those are what our laws and penalties are in South Carolina when it comes to those things. And I'm actually interested to see. I need to see. Brush up on what is being proposed by Senator Mia McLeod, about hash and concentrates. I think concentrates are they're extremely powerful, but they're very useful too. And I would love to see some laws around concentrates and just, once again, harm reduction, really educating people on what concentrates do, how intense they can be, what they should be used for, and so forth and so forth. So yeah, that would conclude. See, told you, quick and easy. It's the smallest portion that we have to go over, but those are our South Carolina laws and penalties. If you are not aware of this, or I encourage you to go back and watch our other shows about the Know the Law series, but really get into what these penalties are. Just like we're talking about, know your rights, know the law. It's very effective for you. It's going to be beneficial for you in the end, because you're going to be able, that's right, that pocket constitution. Like you want to know what is what, because you also, when you're empowered a little bit more about what the law is, it can help you to reduce that anxiety. Maybe not all the time, but if you are in a position where you are faced with having to know the law, or someone's pressuring you about, do you know your rights, or trying to make you feel like you don't have rights, or whatever it may be, it's really nice to know, like, wait a minute, no mind games, no tricks. I know what the law is, and I know what this means. So that is something that's a big reason why we did Know the Law series, and why you should totally become a member of SC NORML, so that you can have that pocket dictionary, pocket constitution. Okay, it's very much worth it. So with that, we're at 7:53. Announcements. Scott, take it away.
Well, you just said it. I got the banner scroll on announcements as usual. Don't forget, folks, our 2023 membership drive. Your memberships, your donations, your support helps. We are hopefully going to announce officially a new volunteer coordinator, who I'm thinking is going to help us kind of organize some of our efforts here over the next few months. Also, we're going to try and sick them on our lobby day, and try and get some folks, start reaching out for folks to come and join us on lobby day, which is going to be January 25th in the first floor lobby of the South Carolina State House, to hold up wonderful pro-cannabis law reform signs. We're hoping to get some media coverage there. Still in the process of working on our speaker list. You might be lucky enough to just listen to Vaughn and I and Kristen speak that day, and if that's the case, then that's
it's gonna
the
be
case.
A good time.
It's still gonna be a good time. We're still gonna get our message out there, and of course, our message this year for our lobby day is harm reduction through cannabis decriminalization of simple cannabis in simple cannabis possession. Even if we just made that one small step here in South Carolina, that would improve a lot of people's lives. They wouldn't have those residual consequences hanging over their heads. It really would make a big difference. It would improve a lot of people's lives. So lobby day, as always, I like to talk about that. The other thing I am going to mention tonight, before we kind of cut everybody loose, is next week is our monthly public membership meeting. At that meeting, our agenda basically is to go over what's happening at national level, state level, and then of course our local level and our chapter level. And I just wanted to sort of point out here that there are 12 bills that have been pre-filed in South Carolina here through what is this, BillTrack50.com. You click on the search up here for South Carolina, put in the word marijuana, and you will get these 12 different bills that have been pre-filed. So I've got my homework cut out for me over the next week to kind of go through this. You'll see one of them here highlighted, 211, Senate 211 and Senate 212. Senate 212, I believe, is the Mia McLeod bill that Vaughn was just referring to. Mm-hmm. The Senate S211 is also a Mia McLeod bill. I've got to go do my homework, read through all these pre-filings,
Samesies.
Kind of figure out which one's which and what one's what. And also, we are talking about a week, next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is the start of our legislature. On that day, we are probably going to see Tom Davis introduce the Senate version of the Compassionate Care Act. Knock wood or whatever it may be. I did see a news report that Senator Tom Davis did get stopped for public drunkenness on New Year's Day. So I hope that doesn't affect his ability to move this bill forward in any way. But anyway, I did want to mention that these bills we will probably be doing my best to talk about next week. So be ready on a little primer on what kind of filings we have. Oh, and I guess that's one day after the new session starts. So I might be playing catch up on the stuff that just gets filed on Tuesday, the day before. We'll see how it plays out. That's kind of it. That's all I got for you at the moment.
Perfect. Well, we got a couple more comments. What's going on? Hold on. Y'all see that good Shure microphone out here? I love this microphone. I'm a kind of a microphone nerd. Okay, so a couple of comments. Sheila says ridiculous. That's a fact. She was talking about earlier about what we were talking about before, not the bills. Josh says my message: I use cannabis and I vote right on, dude. Miggy, for some reason I can't see the emoji that you use, but I'm sure it is a positive one. And it says to SC Normal, know your rights. That's right. For a fact.
Absolutely.
Know your rights. It's valuable. And then Ina says, hi, Miggy.
Yeah,
so,
hi, Miggy.
Hello, Miggy. We love everyone that comes through and talks to us and
he sent us a heart.
It was a heart. Okay, good. Thank you, because some of us are on the struggle bus with PCs. Actually, I love PCs. So anyway, but I absolutely want to take time to say I appreciate everyone that logs in. Thank you so much to all of the people that I have blasted this link out to say, hey, and I literally said, if you want to hear me ramble about cannabis tonight, here's the link. Thank you so much for popping in. Appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone who comes in on a regular basis. Ina, Joey, Josh, Miggy popping in. Who else do we normally have? Noah has also started coming in here. Nancy, I really appreciate it. And I know that Scott does too. And so we will keep it going. Also, I did want to tell you all that we are going to, on the lobby day, we are going to still have cannabis conversations. And word on the street is it may be an extended version of cannabis conversation. So it might be broadcasting from Columbia. Maybe I might be in Columbia. Scott may be in Charleston. We'll see what happens. But looking to do some things there. So that's going to be a lot of fun, an extended show. So
have your lobby day wrap up.
Eat your Wheaties.
Talk a little bit about our discussions with any of your representatives. Sorry, VP, didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you did. No, I said eat your Wheaties, Scott, that day.
Oh, okay.
We'll both eat our Wheaties and have a energy drink. So that's all I had to say. Just wanted to make sure I told you all. Shout out! It's a new year, and it's a new year, same old grind. Okay, and we're gonna keep putting our best foot forward. And shout out to Hemp Lord. Yes, that is Hemp Lord is my husband, and that is so cool that you know that. So very dope, very dope. All right, thanks for watching, y'all.
We appreciate y'all. See you next Wednesday at 7:00. Thanks for joining us.
Peace out, y'all.